Welcome to Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone. This is the separation of economy and state. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Here are some objections to that freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and whatnot. What if someone follows the wrong religion? This today is the ultimate justification for regulating anything and everything. What if someone does the wrong thing? What if they don't chip in for the right stuff? Therefore, we have to have taxes. What if they don't do the right thing? Therefore, the state gets to regulate all the businesses and give a license to some people who they think will do business the right way, the way that business should be done. Well, the same thing goes for religion. If you follow the, quote, wrong religion according to what a group of people deems is right or correct, well, say you don't follow that religion. Think of all the time you'll waste. Think of all the falsehoods you'll believe. Think of all the emotional manipulation that can occur if you believe in, these miracle people and all this other stuff. And also, separate religions will go to war. There will be anarchy. See, you'll believe in Muhammad, he'll believe in Jesus, and someone else will believe in Abraham, and there will just be chaos all over the place. So therefore, government needs to establish a religion. This way, we're not all killing each other, and the peaceful government stops this from happening. The idea of X motivates actions Y and Z. In other words, just because some people may do something immoral in the name of religion does not mean you have the right to stop people from practicing or researching or studying that religion or spreading the word about that religion. The same thing applies to, well, what if someone uses the idea of freedom or criticism of the state, or they use a business in order to do immoral actions against peaceful people? That doesn't mean you have the right to regulate that entire industry. What if someone uses a gun to commit a crime? Well, you don't have the right to take guns away from everyone else just because some people are motivated by something or they use a tool, like a gun, as a means to achieve an immoral end. Oh, what if someone lies? Well, then none of us are going to know what's true. There will be total chaos. People will be getting ripped off. There will be no checks and balances. Therefore, in order to have an honest society, government needs to give us a religion. Same thing applies. For the same reason we should not have the state dictating religion to us is the same reason we should have a totally free economy. What if a religious belief causes poverty? A lot of Christian monks out there, and a lot of state justification is, well, if government doesn't intervene with giving the Federal Reserve a monopoly on money printing, then there will be mass poverty. If it wasn't for the New Deal programs, there'd be nothing but poverty and all this other terrible stuff. What if a belief results in ignorance? This is another, what if the Bible is not accurate? Well, this is the justification for, if we don't force people through property taxes to fund education, everyone will be ignorant. Therefore, everyone has to forcefully fund a state education. You could say the same thing of, if people don't fund my sermons, they won't know right from wrong. How will they ever learn the Ten Commandments or the message of Job or Noah or any of those other things? You benefit from my religion. In other words, you can read Thomas Woods' book. I haven't read the book, but I have watched the 13-part series, How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization. Long story short, when a religion gets so big, it's almost impossible for people not to reap some benefits from it. Positive externalities, if you will. Therefore, you must fund it. Imagine if the Catholic Church said, you've benefited from Catholic Church teachings A, B, and C. Therefore, you should be forced to tithe and we'll cage you if you don't chip in. Well, everyone would see that as immoral. The problem is they don't see it with the state. You benefit from roads, and one time someone in the military kidnapped Noriega. Noriega was a bad guy. Did the same thing with Saddam, of course, after funding Saddam in the Iraq-Iran war. And since you benefited also from our government education system, since you benefited, you therefore should be forced to pay us. It is no different than you benefit from my YouTube channel, or society does in general, therefore you should be forced to fund me. Well, people still have the right to opt out, even if a religion gives people benefits. Excellent quote by Thomas Sowell. One of the great non sequiturs of the left is that if the free market doesn't work perfectly, then it doesn't work at all, and the government should step in. In other words, any criticism of freedom is always a justification for more state power. Look at bad thing X happening, violence exists, therefore take all the guns from the citizenry. Well, what logic does that make? Giving the government guns has led to more genocide than any, voluntary transaction of firearms. Ayn Rand, in The Five Pillars of Objectivism, says, a system where there is a complete separation of state and economics in the same way and for the same reason as the separation of church and state. That was part of the capitalist, objectivist, free market, individualist philosophy that she was trying to spread in the book. I believe it's called The Virtue of Selfishness, or it was Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal. I'm not sure. In other words, we need to look at these two places as having the same rights and the same morals applying to them. No one has the right to use violence to force me in their commercial activities or their religious activities. What if I have a religious belief that you should have to fund my grocery store because without funding, then there wouldn't be food and then everyone would starve to death? You still don't have the right to force people to attend things if they don't want to or to fund them. If they don't attend my religious sermons, of course, they'll be idiots and totally immoral. So the principle revised, what we should be embracing, is no person or group of persons, including a group of people with badges or a group of people called Congress, have the right to initiate aggression or coercive interference in the peaceful voluntary activities of consenting adults. Thank you for watching Keith Knight. Don't tread on anyone.